One of the central messages of Christ is forgiveness and salvation through forgiveness. And there's a message that's resonated with me really deeply, and some stuff has happened just very recently that's really anchored in a technique and a practice that you can bring into your own world to help you heal your narcissism. What's been diagnosed is that we all suffer from narcissism. It's a scale, 9 traits, scale from 0 to 9, spectrum of, and we all manifest this narcissism, and these dark levers will be in any position, depend on where we are and what the setup is that we find ourselves in, and that the system can manipulate us by pushing all those levers up and looking at each one individually and making sure each one is pushed up as high into the narcissistic spectrum as it can go. The way to heal it is to understand forgiveness and the power of puppeting. You have to understand that you are a receiver, and that thoughts arise and they're signals given to you. Now, there's a whole system, you'll understand where they come from, but right now just understand that concept. You can be given script. You'll find yourself saying words that end up in a situation where things get broken. You'll move for validation, for example, in my own case, or you're criticized, and you just rankle straight away, and then you say things based on the trigger of validation or criticism. Those are my two ones that are always set high. To be very careful. That's where the puppeting drops in. So then, once you're triggered, your body has shifted, you're adrenalized, and therefore you're more likely to act upon the negative thoughts that you have rather than the positive ones. So instead of moving towards love, you'll move towards selfishness. You move towards yourself instead of to others. You won't love your neighbour and yourself. You see, the relationship about loving your neighbour as you love yourself is broken. You're loving yourself, forgetting that your love is informed by God, who observes you at all times. And so the practice of forgiveness, regardless, just choose to love regardless. Let's say in a relationship, the most obvious one that's to a person, your direct partner. Can you love them regardless? You find yourself, no matter what they did, would you still love them? And if you find you can, then that is love. And then just take that as wide as you possibly can, knowing that you're not risking anything yourself. By always choosing love as the motivating factor for your decisions you make. It's your check and challenge to the thoughts that arise. Is it God or is it something else? Because you just want to be following God, because God will take you to your true path. You'll find your true path through motion towards love, following the thoughts of love that you create. Because it's a beautiful thing in the engineering, a sphere and 2 pulses of consciousness. And imagine that's a flame, if you like, just see the flame. Puff, 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 puff. That motion is consciousness, but it's future and past with momentum of colour splitting in between. And that creates the sphere, the equatorial force that holds it all together. But your experience of your life is from the past with the energy that you've given it to the future. So that if in the next moment you choose a positive moment, the energy that you receive when you get to that moment will be a positive force. Repeat, repeat. And so then you can see now the difference between puppeting and the power of puppeting, and how you can forgive yourself. If you've done terrible things, or things that you're ashamed of, and you can see how puppeting would have played a part in you making doing that deed that you're ashamed of, you can now forgive it, because that wasn't you. That thought was given to you, but you responded. And this is the point. How much did you choose the shameful deed that you did? And just look at that. And then you'll find that you did make choices, negative choices, in each small moments, and that's what built up to the actual deed itself. Okay, and then learn. Don't do that again. Learn the practice of motion towards love, through forgiveness, to salvation. And then that's the healing of narcissism. And then because you're always keeping your levers are all right down on the base, as far as you can get them down to zeros. Yeah, you don't want any narcissism, you want pure empathy. Pure empathy is loving your neighbour as you love yourself. Because what you want is for the other person to give you back the same empathy you give them. And that's a world of peace, where the children of God can play and love and live forever in the love of God at the centre of the universe, as proven in the Reynolds number engineering. Rigid body mechanics, reference Dr. Victor Levay, 1915, and Dummel and Golgate, circular concrete tanks without pre-stressing, Portland Cement Association, 1993. Those two documents referenced, and I'll prove you the Earth is the centre of the universe, and that everything I've just told you is true. The future has begun. Welcome, children. You're home. Daddy's home. Follow the Rebel King.